Christina. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Sharonda. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. You look fabulous. I
Oh, thank you. Just drinking water and BB cream. Ah.
but I wanted to thank you, okay, because you are putting the Crusaders, Altaf, Capital High
How,
School on the map
how you
as
know
a
about the
former
Crusaders?
Crusader. I Crusaders, class of '05. That was
Okay?
like
Okay.
'05. Yes. So I just want to thank you for putting Altaf on the map. I'd be like, look, I went to Altaf too, okay? We got
Oh
famous
my
people from our
gosh.
school.
Okay.
But I love your character on Mixed-ish. Denise gives me so much life, okay, because she's like a family member that we all have. Like she brings a piece of home to everyone. And I really wanted to ask you, who is it that you modeled Denise after?
Well, Sharonda, let my aunts tell it. I have 10 aunts on my mother and my father's side together, and let them tell it. It's them. Each one of them is like, it's really me, isn't it? Isn't I Dee Dee me? But I would really say it's more of I think she's like a sum total of like a lot of different women in my life, including my mother, and sometimes including my sister. There are times in my relationship with Alicia, Denise and Alicia's relationship, that kind of, and we have an episode coming up in a few weeks, the kind of um, not jockeying for position, but especially with your mother, who's closer to mama, who takes better care of mama, And so I think Denise is she is a reflection of many women in my life, and also very much some memories that I have in my life too, where I wasn't necessarily the adult in that situation. And so it's a fun chance to kind of try to relive those and kind of decide what I would do the same or differently.
Now, Denise is always saying what we're all thinking. And I'm just like, thank you, Denise, for saying this for us. But I want to know, what does the collaboration look like? Are a lot of your scenes, are they ad-libbed? Is it just the amazing writing that we already know that takes place on the show? Like, how do you add your own flavor or mix after getting a script for an episode?
Oh yeah, well, when the episode comes to you, it's 99.99% completely ready. I mean, it's done. And so we do a table read all together with the writers and people from ABC, and producers are there, and the director for that week is there. And so I think as you're reading it, you just read it straight up, and just take it in as an audience member yourself. And then once we get on set and we start to work on the scenes, there is a space to say, I have a question, I have a comment. I mean, there's times I can remember, someone from the props department was like, hey, here's your purse and your briefcase, and they put it on the floor, and I was like, oh, well, wait, a Black woman would never leave her purse on the floor. So it's small things like that aren't necessarily like written into the script, that I will say like, oh, this is not what we would do. But for the most part, the writers have done their research, and we have, there's Black writers and people of color in the room. And they're always listening and observing, I think, to see, to keep it authentic. And then if we have time, maybe at the end of a scene and we're having fun and we've gotten what we need, yes, I certainly will goof off and add little extra things. Gary Cole also is an improviser and loves to add extra things. So that's once the cake is cooked. That's putting on extra sauce.
Yes.
But yeah, the scripts are great. Our writers are the best in the world.
No, it's amazing. And I'm happy that you mentioned Gary Cole, because you two have such great chemistry with one another. Like, you play so well off of one another. And I really want you to talk about your experience working with him, because you guys bring so much life to the show, which makes it so enjoyable.
You know what? I thank you for that. Gary is amazing. I think it's that Midwest connection, especially that I started my performing career in Chicago. And I think from the first day we met, he just was like, honored me and really gave me respect and made me feel like an equal from day one, though I had not done series television before. And once he found out I was from Chicago, he's like, oh, you from Chicago? I can see it. Let's get it done. And that was it. We were just like off to the races. And so it's just, it's an honor to be able to work with someone like him, and who comes from he comes from the Steppenwolf and that deep Chicago training. And it just shows, the training just shows, like even in our, goofing off and joking around, it is quite structured, and he's just great to have an artistic person to play off of. It's wonderful.
No, it's great to watch. But I want to talk about the fashion because Denise, she's giving me life from the wigs to the
Yeah.
outfits. I want
Yes.
to look, she be slaying. I'm like, yes, Denise, work it. But I wanted to ask you, what are some of your favorite outfits? Do you feel like you get to kind of relive in this time where people they try everyone about the fashion back then, but Denise is really showing that people were really slaying.
Yes. Well, I think two things are happening with Denise. I think one, I do love the fashions. I was a little girl in the 80s, so it's very nice to be a woman and like get to try and kind of be a fashion model, a hero. That is exciting. But I think also Denise is a woman who she just transitioned from working a uniform job at the airport where she was checking bags. And I feel like for Black women, well, for anyone who works in a uniform, that time you spend outside of your uniform, yourself and your creativity. Now, I don't know where Denise's budget is. I do believe she has been stealing clothes from people's bags at the airport because there's too many new options every week that I'm like, this woman does not make this kind of money. But we won't worry about how she gets her clothes. But I think that it's also Denise uses her clothes as an expression of her Blackness. Again, this kind of uh, working at the airport at Pan Am, and now she works in a corporate setting with her sister and with the grandfather, working in their law office. She really is trying to, again, express her individuality, her Blackness. She's proud of it. She's not ashamed of it. And so I love the way that she I hope that she sets trends, but also I love the way that she is just really expressive and bold and very confident.
It's interesting to talk about her transition from where we found her, in season one, even going into season two, because Denise is so relatable because Denise really showcases like that kind of transition from womanhood into adulthood, but really finding yourself and experiencing life in order to go through the ups and downs to really figure out who you truly are. And so I really want to know from you, after portraying Denise on Mixed Dish, have you found yourself as a woman? You can speak professionally as an actress, but also to just really understanding who you are as a Black woman.
Oh, well, thank you for that. I'm really excited. I think this role, for it to be like my first big introduction, jumping from the theater to TV. I think what I love about it so much is it was a chance to bring like my full self to the role. And there was at no time when I'm acting is someone like tone it down or, that detail isn't important. Everything I know about Black culture, everything I know about my own upbringing and where I'm from is valued at Mixed Dish. It's needed. They love that kind of input. If they don't, they fooled me, but they love it. And I think for me as an artist and as a woman, it's shown me that you don't need to leave any part of yourself behind. Be your full self, take up your full space. And if you're in a position where you feel like I can't be my full self, push against that. And I think find ways to keep, just keep coming back again and again, bringing not just your whole self because it's important, but also there's other people watching you, right? I think there's, people like we're both from the Midwest, and I hadn't experienced anyone in my family kind of being in show business. And so I was excited to kind of be the first person in my family to kind of break down these doors. You might be the first person in your family, you're breaking down doors in the entertainment industry and in journalism. And so I think that's the other thing to remember too, is when you take the opportunity to be yourself, someone else is watching and you're giving other people permission to be themselves too.
Okay, you better give me a word today.
Yes, I got one.
Okay.
I always got one.
Well, Christina, I appreciate you for taking the time to speak with me. It means more to me than you know. I love watching you
Oh
make
yeah.
this, and I cannot wait to see your career continue to prosper. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Sharonda. It's so nice to talk to someone from home. That's so nice.
Have a great day.
You as well.